Tip number 4 is to use statements instead of questions. Now there are a lot of different types of statements and I'll cover the main ones. We have the story opinion statement, basically a statement that tells a small story or shows your opinion on something. Here's an example of a question. What are you scared of? Here's an example of the story statement being used to replace this question. I used to be terrified of the dark. When I was a kid, I would sleep with my head under the covers to hide from all the monsters and ghosts. Notice how the question shares nothing about yourself. It doesn't really give the other person a topic to jump to besides answering your question. So you're only giving them one thing to talk about. On the other hand, the story statement shares information while it also gives the other person opportunities to talk about different topics. You're giving them different things to thread off of. They can talk about whether or not they're scared of the dark. They can talk about things they used to do when they were a kid, and they can even tell ghost stories. All of these can be branched off of this statement. Next up, we have the cold read statement. Instead of saying something like, hey, what do you like to do for fun? You can say something like, hey, you look like a fun person. I bet you have some interesting hobbies. This is a great trick because the person can respond in 3 different ways. Number 1, you're wrong and they'll correct you. I'm actually not fun. I sleep all day. Number 2, you're wrong, but you'll be asked why you thought so. I'm actually not fun, but I'm curious as to why you thought that I was. And number 3, you're correct and a large amount of rapport will be built instantaneously. I am fun. I love to dance and sing, but how did you know? Each of these ways gives you many more opportunities to branch off into different topics as compared to the simple question, what do you do for fun? So you're sharing information first, and you're not asking anything from them. It's up to them to decide how to respond. And finally, we have the random statement. They're completely random statements that are literally thoughts that just pop into your mind. And they can range from anything about things that are happening around you, observations, stories, random thoughts. There's a whole lot of things you could talk about. Here are some examples. I'm tired of my friends. All they do is talk about sports all day. Look at that guy. He's having so much fun. I wish I could be that loose. I'm thinking about taking a year off from school. Each of these statements share a lot of information about yourself. They also provide multiple topics to branch off into. And finally, they bring a sense of creativity and spontaneousness to the conversation.